Welcome back to my channel. It's Krista here to do the weekly reading for the sign of Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You can always look at your Moon and Rising sign readings in addition to your Sun sign reading for extra clarity for the week Aries. This is for the week of September 12th to the 19th. I'll be using the Medicine card Tarot for your main spread today. And then as always, drawing additional message cards from the Healing with the Angels Tarot and the Wisdom of the Oracle Tarot. So this is a general reading. Whatever is most prominent in your life, I encourage you to apply these messages to, and hopefully you find them helpful and healing. So what does Aries need to know? Okay, Aries, so we have your cards out. I'm just going to give a little synopsis of what all four cards are doing together here, and then we'll look at them one by one. So there is a transformative experience that's available to you this week. This is probably going to be achieved by taking a step back or being gentle with yourself and others and creating healthy boundaries or reestablishing boundaries. And you could be undergoing some kind of procurement or a gathering of some sort. Maybe you're storing things away for the winter, literally. Maybe you're gathering information or ideas in order to begin a project. But certainly what could and most likely lead you to a transformative period this week is through a series of gentle acts with both yourself and others. I do want to recount that what I asked while shuffling was, what do you need to know? So perhaps you were going to go through something a very specific way and wanting a very specific outcome. This is just stating for a specific outcome being boundaries, healthy boundaries here, that if you were to go this way, you'll get that outcome. So it's just an idea on how to spend the week and your energy this week. So let's look at these cards individually. The butterfly is representing you this week. This is transformation. This is about phases, periods of development here. So not only coming out of a cocoon and really transforming from maybe something mucky, murky, or even upsetting for you, there is light on the other side. There is something positive that will become of this. However, there is a series of slowing down, or a period of slowing down here, where you're given an opportunity to assess why things would have become mucky or murky or messy on some level, or upsetting. And you're given an opportunity, or you're being asked to take one here to assess how you got to that condition. And then what phase you are in a project as well. Do you want something to bloom? Do you want something to come to fruition here? And you're just going to be asked, or you're being invited to ask yourself rather, at what stage are you in this development in the project, personal or creative or even professional here? So the development of a personal, professional, or even spiritual project here, what phase are you at? A transformation awaits you. In the influence card to the current condition is Deer. Here we have gentleness. We have an opportunity to be gentle with yourself and ultimately with other people. There are two elements of slowing down here, taking a breather, taking stock of situations, not borrowing through, not plowing through something. In fact, that could be part and parcel of what's creating an upset or creating murkiness. Again, with feelings, with projects, with business, whatever is most prominent in your life this week, Aries, and whatever intuitively you're thinking of while I'm talking about such matters is what you're going to apply this to, okay? So something requires a great deal of gentleness. I'm going to suggest it is you. That you need to be gentle with yourself. Maybe you've made a mistake that you've made before and you're being overly hard on yourself. It's not necessary to do that. And it might even be leading to this sense of murkiness or getting off track, right? It could be leading you to, backwards as opposed to forwards. So there might be a slippery slope back into maybe old patterns of negativity or old habits here, but you can easily pull yourself out of this. So definitely take a gentle approach if possible to any issues or upset this week. This to me is different than patience. Gentleness it's a frame of mind, right? It's not a process. And like I said, you probably want to be gentle about this situation, especially as opposed to forceful. So patience, the opposite of that would be in a hurry, right? The distinction between patience, of course, and gentleness is that the opposite of gentleness is harshness, okay? So maybe try to avoid being harsh or reacting harshly to yourself and others, obviously, this week, just because it's not going to be helpful, and you'll gain a greater perspective in applying gentleness and the transformation that is available to you, or assessing of a situation or condition here is available to you through gentleness and not through aggression. In your probable outcome being boundaries. Here we have armadillo. We're looking at boundaries. When are you curling up? What are you trying to get away from? What are you making yourself available to? Anytime we're looking at boundaries here, especially after gentleness and a transformation period that's available to you, or assessment period, we're looking at either establishing or re-establishing boundaries. So this could be a phase that you need to reassess something and really identify where boundaries need to exist, or where you can go without them, or where they are and they ought not to be. Maybe you've put up boundaries or walls, another way to frame that, personal walls, to keep someone out. But what were those reasons in keeping someone out? If you actually feel like you were in danger from that person, that's very wise. You want to keep those boundaries sturdy. But I do think that because of what's going on here, we have the gentleness and the transformation. It could be that some walls will be coming down here, is a very big possibility, especially if it's a reassessment of something and the heart is involved. Anytime we're looking at gentleness in the deer, animals that eat low on the food chain, for example, we're looking at a real type of sweetness, okay? Like not saccharine, you don't want to be fake here, but that you're probably going to get more of everything: success, prosperity, friendships, joy, relief, all of positive things through gentleness, and of course, as opposed to aggression. Here we have squirrel in your general energy for the week, and this is gathering. This is where I was talking about you perhaps gathering for the winter, just like a squirrel would, for example. Maybe you're doing a lot of canning this week, or you're ready to restock the pantry, or there's sort of a survivalist mode going on here. If you are at all affected by storms or hazardous weather patterns, you could be looking at what needs to be stocked up on or what is in stock. Of course, another way to frame squirrel is that you're extremely busy. So you could feel a little bit scattered here. Maybe this is why this is really important for you to sit down with and be gentle about, and sort of take your time with, if at all possible, because the general energy for the week is it's in opposition to what you're being asked to do here. You're really busy, you're gathering, if it's not actual food and supplies, obviously, this is about ideas, this is about experiences, anything that you could be gathering. And again, Aries, whatever you intuitively think of when I'm mentioning certain words or looking at certain cards is obviously what you're going to want to apply these messages to. So anything that you're gathering here, make sure that it's not negative experiences. Make sure that it's, you're not gathering intel to use against somebody, that type of thing. You want to be using something for the benefit of all, and really being aware that everything is community, everything is energy, and what we do to ourselves is what we do to the human community at large. So I think it's just a nice opportunity this week, Aries, for you to be gentle with yourself, to really take a step back. You could be looking at why you've cut someone out, or even why you've let someone in. Maybe that relationship has become unsafe on some level. So really look at issues of boundaries and gentleness here. I don't think you have to forego your gentleness at all. I think this could be definitely your strength this week. Here we have abundance in one of your additional cards. Of course you are. You are stemming from a place of abundance. I think this assessment could be around what you feel abundant about, or similarly, it could be the opposite. What do you feel is missing from your life? How do you regain this abundance here? Or you could be feeling, again with squirrel being general energy and gathering, maybe you feel for some reason as though you just don't have enough, but you actually do, okay? And again, intuitively, what does that apply to in your life? It could be finances, sure, but it could be romance, it could be friendships, it could be travel, it could be time off, it could be, actual clothing and food. So, use your intuition while assessing this reading for yourself, and you'll know exactly how to apply this, Aries. If there's any reason at all here, interesting cards, if there's any reason at all that you feel as though you're missing out on something or you don't have enough, that is probably going to make itself real, okay? So it's important to come from a place of abundance. And really, butterfly, in terms of transformation here, it could just be an element of taking stock of what you actually have, so that your imagination isn't running wild about what you don't have or what you or what you're doing without. It appears here is that you have plenty, is what I'm saying. So if there are any feelings around not having enough or doing without something, really assess, for example, if you really need that, or what it means to you to not have it. Does it devalue you to not have something that you think you should have here? What stories are you telling yourself about your abundance or lack thereof, as it were? So just some questions to ask yourself here. And then we had two jumpers from the Wisdom of the Oracle. We have All That Glitters and then Mending. So I'm actually going to suggest that mending does have something to do here with boundaries. Perhaps you have to mend fences, so to speak here, reestablish boundaries, or like I said, let a wall down here that you've created that you're going to assess this week isn't actually necessary. Some mending does need to occur here. Someone needs to say sorry. Someone needs to make amends on some level. Maybe you've been hurt and someone needs to say sorry, or vice versa. But because it's a week of gentleness, I feel that this is going to become available to you rather easily. And then All That Glitters is interesting. And just to back up here with abundance, this, as you can see, this is, two masks on a huge pile of gold. The strange thing about All That Glitters is the opposite of abundance, okay? We know that all that glitters isn't gold. We're dealing with masks here. We're dealing with not being oneself or an authentic self. So if you're feeling that at all this week, Aries, you're going to want to check yourself and make sure that you are being authentic, or if you aren't, you're going to want to understand why you wouldn't be. authentic? Why would you behave that way? What do you think you're getting out of it, etc., etc.? So of course you come from an abundant place, but if for some reason you feel that you aren't and you are coming from a place of lack, that's going to bring a great deal of fear into your environment. So you want to try to avoid that. Remember that you are always abundant. You come from abundance. Now, with all that glitters not being gold, this is really another avenue of assessment. It's like, where are you? Where do you want to be? And why do you think you're here at the present being? And then why would you be working towards something? Again, we're looking at value systems. What do you think you're getting out of it? Not just simply a paycheck or an income or a prize, so to speak, but what kind of person does this turn you into, okay, at the end of the day? And you're going to want to assess that as well. I really think that gentleness, honestly, is probably the most important message for the whole week for you. So Aries, that is your reading. If you have a second, let me know how it works out for you. And if you're not already, subscribe to my channel because I upload videos for your sign every single week. So until we meet next time, take good care. Bye for now.